Lore Friendly episode 92. Are we on 92? What episode are we on?
I believe so.
Our first post Game of Thrones episode.
How'd you feel about it, Chris?
How do I feel about us embarking into this uncharted territory that was previously charted before?
Previously charted before, but we always had Game of Thrones to fall back on.
Yes. I don't know. It's unnerving, to say the least.
Yeah, we actually had to plan an episode. Yes. That's weird.
We should probably talk about all the things that we kind of just ignored because we had Game of Thrones to fall back on and stuff like that.
Oh god, there's been so much stuff that we've missed. So, should we call this the catch-up episode?
Yeah, sure, why not?
This is the catch-up episode. Although, that being said, we're not going to talk about some of the grandest controversies that have occurred since we started talking about Game of Thrones. For example, we're probably not going to be talking about Sonic's human teeth.
Oh god. Who wants to talk about that? Who wants to visualize that?
I don't know. That's why we're not talking about it.
They're going to redo it, I heard, anyway, so...
Yeah, they're redoing the entire CGI, and there's this wonderful conspiracy theory about how the trailer was intentionally made to be too bad it's good. For, like, viral advertising purposes. But I don't buy into that for one hot second.
Yeah, it didn't come across that way. It certainly came across as just a catastrophe all around.
Yeah.
They're going to redo it. I mean, hopefully people don't get overworked having to redo it, but, you know.
Probably will. All industries exploit their employees. It's fine.
Yeah. But we're not going to talk about that, apparently.
No.
Yeah. What are we
We're going to talk about some stuff that's come out this week.
Oh, topical.
It's not a really good catch-up episode, honestly, but we got to get on that trending goss, you know?
That's true. Well, if we're doing a catch-up episode, we would have needed a catch-up jingle. We'd have needed all kinds of things. No, that's our regular transition sound. We would have needed a new...
I miss having our regular transition sound.
We would have needed a catch-up jingle to open with, you know. This is the catch-up show, something like that. This
is the catch-up. Banana. This is the catch. Banana. This is the catch-up.
There you go.
The catch-up.
Boom.
This is the catch-up show.
Boom. I hope we don't have to pay royalties to whatever melody is there because it does sound very familiar.
Banana.
There you go. Don't spell it out for them. We don't want to make it easy for them to sue us. So it's just.
Well, you see, my singing's just so tuneful that it's immediately going to get content ID'd.
Oh, that's true.
You
what
know,
are you going to do?
The algorithms, they're just going to pick up on it because they're going to be like, oh my god, it sounds like the proper song.
Yeah, it does.
It's beautiful.
In lieu of paying for it at the iTunes store, they're just going to download that one section of you singing and then cut it and then put it on repeat.
I mean, who can blame them, right? Right, so this week's episode is being split into 3/2 parts, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So trailers and teasers. This week we have had 2 new trailer, teasery, video-y type things come out. And these are basically the first things that I saw. But today, literally just now, the Swamp Thing trailer has been released.
Oh.
Did you get to watch that?
Yes, I did. It seemed like almost like one of those horror films, I guess, like a horror, like that as opposed to a comic book, like an environmental thriller.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued as to what route they're going to go down for this, because like the Swamp Thing comics, they kind of shot to fame after Alan Moore was given free rein to do what he wanted with them. And it was the Swamp Thing's run that really catapulted Alan Moore to being the one of the best-known comic writers of the 80s. Because before Swamp Thing came along and DC just gave him free rein to do with as he would, he was only like a very small-time comic artist. He was only working for like zines and compilations and things like that. And his stuff has always been very political as well.
Yeah, V for Vendetta, Watchmen.
Yeah.
All that stuff is just, super political. But then all art is political, right?
Yeah, but his is overtly so.
Yeah, his is hit you over the head.
Have you ever seen or read From Hell?
No, I have not.
It is this massive whack-off volume. It is huge. I can't overemphasize how big a collection it is. It is massive. and it's based off of the field of Ripperology. It's based off of Jack the Ripper.
Oh,
it's basically trying to see who was Jack the Ripper, and it's this weird, I think it's a Freemason cultish doctor who's the doctor to Queen Victoria, and there's a plot line to do with one of Queen Victoria's sons having a bastard child, and it's all very confusing. Like, I'm still confused by this book to this day, because we actually had to study it at university.
Is the movie version easier to consume?
I mean, it's a lot more simplified in the plotline.
There you go. Watch the movie.
As we were studying that, we did have to look into Alan Moore and his concept of wizardry and magic and things like that. And he's basically a very bizarre and surreal writer in many aspects. Like, you've got some straight down the line stuff, like The Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Which is, to date, one of the most famous Batman comics of all time. Or graphic novels of all time. But then you've got the fact that he used to write for leftist and anarchist collections and things like that. He's just a very weird fellow. So, getting to my point. I have no idea what they're going to do with the Swamp Thing. Because the Swamp Thing's most successful run was when it was being run by Alan Moore, who included this massive natural world versus the man world sort of environmentalist message.
Yeah, it looks like it has elements of that.
But at the same time, I don't have high hopes for it. Because it's a DC movie. Like, it's going for a different atmosphere than DC movies have been striving for recently. Like, it's not got the bad comic tone that they've been looking to grasp on. So that's nice to see them doing their own thing.
Because they could easily do that. I mean, they could easily go total Silver Age. Just Creature from the Black Lagoon shit, you know, and just...
To be fair, I think that doing some Silver Age style movies instead of 2010's gritty shit would be so much more fun. Like, or Avengers Quit Fest, you know?
Yeah.
I think a Silver Age style comic adaptation of anything, any of the DC characters, would be something that I'd want to see. Because the trend for superhero movies is all grim dark.
Where are the drugs? It's because of that. It's all because of that.
And then the dark bits of drama with bits of humour scattered into it, which is the kind of tone that the Avengers and the Marvel universe as a whole has managed to grasp hold on.
No.
I think DC needs to get into its own niche, and that own niche would be a Silver Age comic run.
Just bust out Adam West style.
Oh my god,
TV.
yes. Yes.
Batman and everything.
Yes.
Just the short shorts on Robin. Just
pay to see it.
Just go all the way. Just go.
I would pay to see
lean
it.
into it. Yes.
So yeah, I have no idea how this film is going to turn out.
But
honestly.
the trailer does confirm your fears that it's going to be super gritty and super horror based. And I mean, it does seem like there's going to be some environmental sort of aspects to it. You know, we're dumping whatever toxic waste probably in this place, and it creates the Swamp Thing. And you know, the bad guys are the humans, even though there's this monster. It's one of those kind of typical environmental allegories. But I don't know. It looks interesting.
It does. It looks like something different to what DC has put out in their recent fare.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued. Colour me intrigued.
The tone and the lighting does seem to fit more of a Nolan-style Batman than some of the other incarnations. But yeah, Silver Age would have been nice.
Yeah. Silver Age Swamp Thing, it's just a man running around wearing ripped-up trash bags. I'm the Swamp Thing.
Doing a little dance. Doing the Swamp Tootsie.
Has his own theme tune.
Yeah, we could use that for our transitions.
Swampy man does whatever a swampy man does. Can he swamp in his swamp? Yes, he can, 'cause he's a swamp. Na-na, it's a swamp man. Do, 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 do.
Although technically he's a Swamp Thing. We need to be scientifically correct here.
Yeah. It's not a man, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Clearly. Probably in the same animal genus, you know, man, thing, related.
Organism.
Cousins of the same family tree.
Yeah. Related to the children of the forest.
Yes. Possibly.
This is actually a Westeros crossover.
Cousins of the Three-Eyed Raven. We managed to talk for like 15 minutes without mentioning Game of Thrones, and then we finally...
But I saw the funniest Reddit post the other day.
Oh, yeah?
And it was basically a theory that Euron Greyjoy is actually just a player.
A player?
In the Westworld version of Westeros.
Ah, that kind of player, like an actor.
Because that would explain his characterization. That was the best thing that I've seen on the internet all week, and I was like, yes, it makes perfect sense. This is the crossover we've all been waiting for.
It does make sense then why he would be so enthralled by the fact that he killed Jaime Lannister right after he killed a fucking dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you compare the two, Jaime Lannister is just way more famous. Way bigger deal.
Yeah.
Dragon, psst.
Nah. Jaime Lannister, whew, yeah.
One-handed Jaime Lannister. He's part robot even.
Yeah, sorry, getting back on topic. And the other trailer that has quite recently dropped, less of a trailer, more of a teaser, is for Death Stranding. Now, it feels like Death Stranding has been coming out forever.
It does.
And honestly, teasers are meant to spark your intrigue, you know? Make you interested.
Well, it's a teaser for a trailer that is coming out tomorrow, right?
Yeah. But the thing is, this game has been being eked out for so long, and I think they jumped the gun on releasing material
probably.
for it because they released it so early that now, breaks my heart to say because I love Hideo Kojima, but I am losing interest in it.
Well, you know what they have to do now to spark your interest again.
No, the teaser trailer.
Release a thumbnail for the teaser for the trailer.
Oh, yes. Oh.
But before you do that, release the file name for the thumbnail, for the teaser, for the trailer. Spread it out across 4 months, just timed releases.
You just want to know what it is, don't you? No, not anymore.
But before you release that, you take that file name and blur it up a little bit until it's just like a blurry image, just to give everybody a little bit of a tease before you release the file name. And then before that, you have a countdown clock for the blurry image, for the file name, for the thumbnail, for the teaser, for the trailer. Boom, 6 months of interest peaked.
Fucking hell.
But yes,
don't you think that because it's been being drawn out for so long, you just lose the interest?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm no longer particularly intrigued. I'm not excited about it anymore. I feel like I would have preferred complete radio silence from Kojima Productions until they were maybe a year out from release.
Yeah, there's something to that. I think Bethesda did that well with Fallout 4. They announced it around now, and then they released it in November. You know, it's just like the right amount of hype.
The Skyrim announcement as well.
Yeah.
No, the Skyrim announcement. Elder Scrolls 6 announcement, not so much. Because we don't know when that's coming.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about announcing something close to release, because then the hype sort of builds up, and then you get to play the game. You know, you don't forget about it. You don't kind of just like, oh, hey, I remember when I was hyped for that like a couple years ago. It's just the novelty of it disappears. It's just anything in life. You get tired of it. It's just tired of waiting. Eventually the hype sort of dies down.
Yeah. They release it and they drop the first thing, and that first trailer for Death Stranding, gorgeous, stunning, amazing, shit on it, put in a bag, you know, fantastic, great. Couple of teaser trailers come out as well. It's like, ooh, I'm intrigued. I want to know more about the lore. I'm very intrigued about the world and the concept and things like that. But as more and more things have been released sporadically, it's just died.
Yeah, from what I remember, there was tiny little babies that you'd walk around with. Like you'd keep them in a little container or something, and that was it. And you were in some hellish like hellscape, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So the new teaser says something about like create the rope. So is the rope like some kind of umbilical cord or something that connects you to these babies? I mean, that's my guess, but yeah.
Something along those lines.
And then you eat the baby, and the baby comes out of your mouth, and, you know, it's just typical Kojima stuff. Play them like a damn fiddle. The end.
Oh, can you remember back in a more innocent time?
Yes.
Where we got played like a damn fiddle!
Those were the days. We were so young and immature, and then after the fiddling, now here we are, just cynical, nihilistic.
Looking at babies.
Yes.
Babies in vats. What can we say?
Yes. We have to create that rope. We have to connect the rope from ourselves to our hype and our interest in the game. Because right now the rope does not exist.
Yeah. There is no connection between me and hype at the minute.
Create it. You got to drum it up somehow. It's all on you, Alice. You can't expect them to do it. You got to do it yourself.
Well, you know what happens when I get hyped?
What is that?
I get disappointed.
Ah, that's true.
You know, what's the point in hype anymore? I don't want my heart to be broken.
But do they care anymore is the question, as long as they get your money that you forked over when you were hyped.
No.
Pre-disappointment.
No, they don't.
There's no backsies, basically. So.
No takesy backsies. Although at least we can get refunds from Steam, so that's something.
It's not a PC game, though. It's a PS4 game.
Oh, shit! Oh, I hate consoles. I hate them, I do.
Well, that's an extra barrier. Then you have an excuse. You don't have to buy it. It's not your hype that's the problem. You created the rope, you connected the rope, but then you don't have a console.
But then the rope had a 300-pound weight to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Damn rope. It's the rope's fault. Sorry, Hideo, I wanted to play your game, but, you know, too many barriers, too many ropes, too many analogies that don't make sense.
Just can't do it anymore, mate. Just can't do it.
Is there a game that you're hyped for?
Bloodlines 2.
Besides Bloodlines 2, in the non-Bloodlines category. Because we did talk about Bloodlines 2.
As awful as this sounds, and I know that I'm going to lose any credibility that I have as somebody who enjoys video games.
Mm-hmm. Do you hate video games?
No, I'm excited to see if the soon-to-be-announced Call of Duty has a zombies mode. Because you know what's really fun? Black Ops Zombies. I have such good memories of Black Ops Zombies. It's so much fun. And you can say what you like about the Call of Duty games. They are not a high-quality game by any means. Like, the gameplay mechanics and stuff...
No, but they do what they're advertised.
But they do as they're advertised. Yeah. And the zombie games are just so much fun. Like, there's so much background intrigue and plot to them that you really have to pay attention to whilst you're being swarmed by hundreds of zombies. And the maps that you can get, really fun. So you know what? I want another Black Ops Zombies. In fact, I would be very happy if what Call of Duty did is they just released a standalone zombies game. Yeah. A compilation with a story mode of the different zombies levels. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, because you know how people on the internet complain about game franchises where they just kind of update the graphics more or less. It's the same thing. But they also complain about games where the company doesn't update it. You know, people complain, why doesn't Bethesda just release Morrowind, you know, with 2019 graphics? Or like, why don't they release this game, you know, re-release it with modern graphics? So they also complain when companies don't do what Activision is doing with Call of Duty, which is updating the game, which is, and you don't have to buy it if you don't want it. But I mean, I think that's a good thing. I think all game companies should update all their games, although it probably costs a ton of money to do.
God, yeah. It's only financially viable to remaster your greatest hits.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But they should do that. More companies should remaster their greatest hits because I think that would be both profitable and be a good gesture to the fan base. Because I would like to play just a lot of the classics, especially there are ones that use realistic graphics, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though they're outdated, by today's standards, those are the games that could really use a remastering. Just anything that you intended to be realistic. Obviously, there's games that use stylistic graphics or cartoony graphics or that kind of aesthetic where they're fine as is. But
because they are timeless, especially if you have got a good aesthetic for it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm down with Call of Duty updating all the time. Like I said, I also own Activision stocks.
Yeah.
Please sell well and make me money. But yes.
But yeah, that's something that I would very much like. It's just a standalone zombies game. I know you're talking more about actual games that are coming out, but...
No, speaking of old games, I did see a trailer. It's been out for a while, but Killer 7 is on PC
Oh, yes,
now.
of course you mentioned that. Yes.
Yeah. And
So
that
that
has a really stylistic look.
Yeah, well, like we said, those stylistic looks, they're kind of timeless. Mm-hmm. And when did Killer 7 come out initially?
It had to be a while ago. It was like 15 years ago.
Hang on, let me have a look. Yeah, you're about right. About 15 years ago, 2005.
Ooh,
GameCube.
Yeah.
Fuck me, it came out on the GameCube. Oh, God.
I mean, it really fit the era because there was a lot of Tarantino-esque films that came out around that time. But as far as video games go, it's really the first to kind of delve into that genre. And by that, I mean heavily stylized, very pulp, cartoonish violence, all that. It embraces weird in a good way. There's also a lot of just underlying political themes. It's a good game.
Yeah.
I don't know how it plays on PC, but yeah, it was one of those memorable games that you think back and it's like, oh yeah, that was original in its time.
Yeah. Wasn't this one of Suda51's first really big breakthrough games as well?
Yeah. It is like his
signature?
Sure, let's go with that. It's his signature game.
Yeah, so
because all the other ones haven't done as well, right? Like No More Heroes and No More
Lollipop
Heroes 2.
Chainsaw did pretty well.
Yeah.
I can remember Lollipop Chainsaw, and I actually used to really enjoy that game.
Oh, I never played it. How is that?
It's wonderfully satirical.
Yes.
And I can remember that there was a massive promotional campaign around it, featuring I believe Jessica Negri. Mm-hmm. I think.
Oh, is that the PSP liquor or no? Am I thinking of somebody else? No, that's somebody different.
No, Jessica Negri is basically a really famous cosplayer / fashion model.
Okay. Yeah, I think Jessica Chobot or something was the other one. It was the person I was thinking of. There was some person who got famous for licking a PSP, which might have fit in well with this kind of like satire. It's just social commentary on pop culture.
Yeah, I do find it quite funny because the lead character in the game, she's sort of like the reverse Buffy. Mm-hmm. Which is a really weird thing to say because the character kicks ass, but her character is, in every other sense of the game and her personality, the complete opposite of Buffy. So it's like, you can see where it's coming from with the blonde, kick-ass protagonist, but then what happens with the character is the opposite.
Yeah, I haven't played it, but just looking at it, you get like Harley Quinn vibes. I don't know if that would be accurate.
Well, I think her design was actually based off of Harley Quinn. Mm-hmm. Or it might have been the other... No, I don't think it was Harley Quinn, actually. No. I think there's... No, because the Arkham games... When did the first Arkham game come out?
I'm not sure. I mean, it looks like your typical teenage cheerleader.
Yeah.
With the pigtails and the lollipop, and it's just this sexualized version of the cheerleader, that... Yeah. It seems like it's just a parody of that.
Oh, it is. It's fantastic. Yeah. I really enjoy it in an unironic way.
Yeah. But yeah, Killer 7 is on the PC, so I recommend people play that if you haven't played that. Any other games or anything else that you want to talk about in terms of things that are out, mods, games, or otherwise?
In terms of games, no. But, right. So, like everybody who has Steam, I have at least 50 games that I have bought that I have never even touched. And so, Steam has decided to do this spring cleaning event, and I'm not sure if this is the first time that they've done it, but basically, it's trying to incentivize you actually playing the games that you buy. So basically what you do is you get little awards and medals and things like that because, let's face it, who doesn't love a good achievement? Like, when I play a video game, I love to get every single achievement that I can. You know?
Oh, yeah, it's like a nice little dopamine feedback.
Yeah.
You get a medal. It's nice. I mean, do you think that the people in Star Wars would have blown up the Death Star if they didn't have that ceremony afterwards?
Oh, God, no.
You know? No. They would have been like, fuck this. I'm not even getting a medal for this. I'm not risking my life. They would have never done it. But you get a medal, so...
Yeah. Well, that's basically what Steam's decided to do, because this is a massive thing. Steam has so many sales, and you buy so much shit, and you never end up playing it. So it's got different ways to incentivize you to go through your games. So one of them is Blast from the Past. Play the first game you added to your Steam account.
Oh.
So in my case, I believe that would actually be Skyrim.
Would it?
I think it would be, yeah.
Yeah, that timeline makes sense. Skyrim is a 8-year-old game now.
Oh, God.
You were but a wee lass. You were many years away from
I was
reaching
16.
that age where you could get paid as much as any other adult.
Oh, that's an issue for another day.
Yes. But, yeah, that makes sense. So are you going to be playing Skyrim? Are you going to get a blast from the past?
I mean, I need to reinstall all my mods. Because I sporadically remove games that I haven't played in a while from my Steam account, and then I put them back on again.
Yes. We were supposed to play Left 4 Dead at some
Oh,
point.
God,
Me,
yes.
you, and Ronya, yeah. Speaking of zombies, I bought that game. We never ended up playing.
You bought Left 4 Dead?
Remember? So we could play. I bought
you
it
get
and
Left
then...
4 Dead for free.
Okay, I was trying to make you feel guilty, but then I guess
It
I
didn't
can't
work,
because
did it?
it's
Didn't
free.
work. No, Left 4
Well,
Dead's
Left 4
been
Dead
free
2?
for... Yeah, Left 4 Dead 2's been free for
damn it.
years,
Damn
mate.
it.
Years.
I was going to tell you I paid $19.99 for it.
Ha,
I had
fuck
this whole
off.
story, but yeah, no, I guess
No,
not.
Left 4 Dead 2 is one of the free games that you can get. You know what I used to play loads of?
What?
Team Fortress 2.
Oh, yeah.
I used to really love Team Fortress 2.
Well, multiplayer is a thing. We could play, we could stream now. could talk
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You should get Borderlands. I don't know if you played Borderlands 1 and 2.
You've already got me Borderlands.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, see, I can make you feel guilty about that. But no,
Yeah.
Borderlands 1 and 2, we could play 3, get Ronya, get a couple people. I don't know who else would be interested.
Have a grand old time.
Because it's a 4-player thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that game, I think they're taking it off the desert, too. Because the first 2 games that had this whole, like, Dune aesthetic and had the whole, like, desert punk vibe. Like, Mad Max kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? And then now, I think they're taking you to other planets, so it's going to be, like, a whole another thing. Like, it's just, the atmosphere will change, and that's kind of nice, I think, so. Because
Yeah.
it needed a refresher, so, yeah. Just need to get you the computer first. To play it.
It's something that's on my list, don't worry.
I'll just give you mine. Mine's like the world's biggest paperweight right now. It's just, yeah, completely
Poor
useless.
thing.
But yeah, what were we talking about before I sidetracked you? Oh, Skyrim. Skyrim is your
Yeah.
blast from the past. Is there anything else on this Steam's
I think-
award list?
Oh, I think another one that I could play that would go towards it is one that I have been meaning to play for years. It used to be internet sensation. It used to be that you couldn't go 2 steps on the internet without running into it. Amnesia. I am
That's right.
still yet to play Amnesia: The Dark Descent, and the main reason for that is that I am a fucking pussy.
alright.
I have never been able to play a horror video game by myself.
Thing about it is, I don't really understand the desire to even play horror games. Like, why would you want to do that to yourself psychologically? It's just,
I enjoy
I
it.
don't know. I don't think it's fun. It's like getting electric shock on purpose. You're like, ooh, this hurts. This makes me feel threatened and afraid and anxious.
You
That's
say
great.
that as an unusual thing, but we do have party party games in the UK, which is basically a shock thing. So you have this metal handle and you hold it, and basically it will sporadically shock you. And when it shocks you, you also have to take a drink.
Okay, the drink is okay. I'm down with the drink part, but the whole electric shocking part makes no sense to me. It sounds very masochistic.
Humans are weird.
Yes, they are.
I'm
I
weird.
never understood horror. No, a lot of people love horror. Friend of the show, Ronya, I think she's a huge horror fan. But I've never gotten it, so I'm with you on that. I'm with you on not playing those games because I don't understand the need to like deliberately frighten yourself, deliberately put yourself in a flight or
fight or flight.
Fight or flight, there you go, situation.
But I do love horror games. Like Silent Hill is one of my earliest memories of gaming. But I've never played a horror video game by myself. It's always been something that we've done on the sofa. There's some kind of furry animal in hand to comfort me. And it's intense, but because I'm not alone, it doesn't leave me sleepless.
Yeah.
In fact,
you got the lights on. You got somebody cracking jokes next to you.
In fact, there was Until Dawn. That was the last big horror game that I played. And the only reason that it gave me sleepless nights is because I spent time reading articles about the game afterwards and reading the Wikipedia pages, and that gave me nightmares. And I actually had a dream where I was being eaten by one of the monsters in that game, and I could feel it. And this was at a time when I did suffer from sleep paralysis and sort of
that is terrifying.
Waking dream sort of thing. So I was awake and I could feel like these teeth tearing at my neck and things. And the only reason that I got that bad with it is because I was reading the Wikipedia articles about it afterwards.
Yeah, see, that's just opening a can of worms. A can of flesh-eating worms, to be exact. I should introduce you to the Alice in my dreams who just sits there and cracks jokes. We just watch TV or something.
Oh, dear.
That Alice lives a much more stress-free life, so... Yeah.
Well, what I wouldn't give for a stress-free life, mate. What I wouldn't give. But yeah, final bit of news that has come out this weekend. So, the World Health Organization has released its new list of mental disorders. And on the one hand, on a high note, they have declassified being transgender as being a mental disorder, which, yay! But in its place, they had to replace it with something.
They do?
I
Is
don't
that
know.
the rule?
I don't know. But they definitely replaced it with gaming addiction. Which, I mean...
That's interesting.
On the one hand, I can see how it's a thing. But on the other hand, because I have taken a bit of a step back from gaming in recent months, it just strikes me as a little bit bizarre. Like, yes, I used to, and I still do, enjoy video games a lot. You know? Great fun, great hobby to have, things like that. And yes, maybe I was a little weird with how much I got into video games. Like, I can specifically remember when I got Oblivion, I would get up for school at 6 a.m, play an hour of Oblivion, do my homework, and then go to school. And then I'd come back and I'd play Oblivion all night. Which is why I was having to do my homework in the morning.
It's really one of those semantics things, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if you weren't playing Oblivion, if you were, I don't know, doing some other hobby, like if you were skateboarding or something, I don't know what the kids do these days, or if you were vaping.
Yeah.
It's just how you fill your time, right? Do we call it an addiction? Do we call it a mental disorder? If, you enjoy something and do it a lot, it's a very ambiguous term.
Yeah. Like, I've never met anybody whose life has been consumed by gaming to the point where it's actually damaging. I've never met anyone like that. I've never known anyone like that. Have I heard horror stories?
Yeah.
Yeah, but can you verify these horror stories? If anybody has any stories of gaming addiction to share with us, please do feel free. Like, you wouldn't call somebody who likes reading addicted to reading.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have lost sleep. One more chapter, one more chapter, one more chapter. You wouldn't say, oh, she's got a reading addiction. Because reading is seen as being quite a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas gaming, because it's a new technology, it's stigmatized and it's demonized.
Mm-hmm. And even then, if you are addicted to reading, is that necessarily seen as a negative thing? Like, I mean, again, addiction, it's all semantics. Addiction can be true, but it doesn't necessarily have to be negative. It's like there's a difference between being addicted to books and being addicted to crack cocaine. You know, one is gonna physically harm you. The other might make you smarter. I'm not sure.
Depends on what books you read.
Yes. Not the books on my bookshelf, that's for sure. But if you read good books, intellectually stimulating books, then yes, that might help.
But I don't know how I feel about it, honestly, just because it's... I know that people are up in arms about it, like, blah, 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 blah. This is the mainstream media, this is the out-of-touch middle-aged people who work for who don't know what gaming is, and they're just demonizing it. This is like when they blame gaming for mass shootings and things, blah, blah, blah. But is gaming addiction a thing? That's the question.
Well, that's the thing. What does this act do in terms of just a practical consequence of it?
I believe it's generally just giving it medical weight.
I wonder, though, if because it's on this list that it now opens up new avenues for funding and medical experiments and things that can be done based on the fact that it's recognized and identified as a legitimate mental disorder.
From what I understand, it's basically saying that by having it in this list of mental disorders, that it allows it to be diagnosed and it allows researchers who are researching these sorts of disorders to categorize it.
Oh, see, that's
so I don't know
thing.
if it opens up any additional funding, but it helps.
It allows us to maybe use it for our weed prescriptions, you know, things like gaming addiction.
I wish.
Give me some weed now. It's the only cure.
You know, what can you do?
That and my glaucoma. Obviously, I have glaucoma as well, but yeah. So it's a good thing. Like, because when people get up in arms about this stuff, it really depends on what the practical application of this thing is.
Yeah.
You know, is it going to affect your life in some way? Is it going to cause misdiagnoses? Is it going to do anything negative? Because otherwise, then who cares, right? If there's nothing negative that comes out of it, then it's not a big deal. I mean,
yeah, it's just a confusing thing. Like, I never thought I'd live to see the day when video gaming too much would be classed as an actual disorder. It's just something that's confusing to me, you know?
Yeah.
This is the world that we live in now. Kids of today, eh?
I guess it's just one of those things where it could be damaging to the brand that is video games.
Yeah.
Like when you talk about gambling, when you talk about things that people get addicted to, like alcohol, there's always a stigma to it. So I guess people are concerned that if you say that there is a such thing as gaming addiction, then all of a sudden it is like a forbidden fruit kind of thing. It is kind of a dangerous substance to use, more or less. So I do get it from that perspective, but that's more for people with kids, I guess, to worry about, for parents to kind of decide how much gaming their children should be doing. Yeah.
Tell you what, though, with it being classified as this, as being a disorder, I am very excited to see the new psychological studies that are going to come out about it. I love reading a good old psychological study.
Yes,
I find it fun. I have a messed up brain, so I find this stuff dead intriguing.
Or you could sign up for those studies. You could go in there, play a bunch of fucking games.
You know, have a grand old time.
Play 20 straight hours of Skyrim and just, or Oblivion. Just, get reacquainted with old folks. old NPCs and get paid for it.
Yeah. Would they allow me to play it modded, though? That's the question.
Yeah, that is the question. Well, if they need to study your addiction, they're going to have to let you play on the settings you like. Yes, exactly. You need to max up the juice. It's like heroin with like 99% purity or something, or meth with like 99% purity. I don't know anything about drugs, and that obviously shows. But yeah, that's how you get the pure stuff, is with mods. So there you go. Gonna have modded Oblivion.
Straight to the veins.
Sign me up for that study.
Again, I know nothing about drugs either, so there we go.
Yeah. Straight to the thorax. Just say some weird ass shit, and then you really reveal yourself. A vein is actually something that people do. They shoot at their veins, right? Straight to the thumbs. Straight to the ears.
Straight into the heart.
Yeah. That's how you get your drugs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so this is the world that we live in now.
Yes, it is. It's a brave new frontier.
Yeah. Right. I believe that brings us to the end of our content. Oh, it's been nice to not be raging, you know?
Yes. Yeah, I shouldn't send you that documentary about the Game of Thrones stuff then.
Oh, no,
there was one that came out.
I would love to see the behind the scenes, because it's the writing that's bad, the production, apart from the lighting in episode 3, it's damn good.
Because I don't want you to get angry again. You've reached this relaxed state, and now, you're good. No mental disorders, no gaming addictions.
I'll keep it when I need to shoot up a hot, spicy bit of D&D rage straight into my heart. The pure stuff, the good stuff.
Yes. All right, I will send you that. Yeah, that's it for this episode. Tune in next week. We're going to talk about more games, I guess. More trailers.
About something.
Yes.
Who knows?
Yes. But we're glad that you're tuning in, regardless of what we're talking about.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Watch our episode viewer count just drop. Plummet. We need to get on the trending topics, mate.
Yeah. How do you do that? Who do I have to pay? Whose dick do I have to suck?
Come on, Chris. We all know that I'm the better dick sucker.
Oh, damn it.
Ah! There's a moth in my room. Ah! Fuck off. It's on my screen. Ah, okay.
Podcast guest. Next week, more moths. Maybe a butterfly.
I don't.
Or something.
It's in my room. Right, so I have to go and get a moth out of my bedroom.
Yes. Hopefully it won't lead to more nightmares.
Hopefully not. So on that note, we will end this episode of Law Friendly.
All right, goodbye.
Good night.